So this evening I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about the Relevé, the Retiré and the RondDeJambe. So we'll start with the Relevé. And Relevé is not necessarily so much a move in its own right, but more a move or an addition that you would add on to other moves. And the best way to think about it is Relevé just means to raise or to lift. So if I roll my heel up, so I bring my weight onto the ball of my foot, I have relevéed my heel. And this is the most common style of relevé that you will see in bar, the rolling up through the foot onto the ball, onto your demi point. So you would maybe come across this quite commonly combined with a plie in bar. So I would plie down, I would lift, and at the top range of my plie I would relevé my heels and then gently lower myself back into my foundation posture. You will also come across the relevé combined with the arabesque. So remember yesterday we talked about doing the toe taps in arabesque. Quite often in bar, rather than to toe tap, you will actually do a leg lift. So we will lift the leg like so, into an arabesque line and then returning into third position. And then if you wanted to enhance this move further, you would add the relevé. So as you lift the back leg, you relevé to the ball of the foot, like so. You would also perhaps encounter it in the long fourth. So I did briefly mention this when we went through the leg positions. So as I come into my long fourth, or my dancer's lunge, I have my weight evenly distributed, my knee out over my toe, and to enhance this move I could relevé my front heel in my dancer's lunge. So they're the most common instances of the relevé you will come across in Les Mills Barre. There is one more, but I'm going to cover that one in just a moment. Because now I want to move on to the Retiré. Now your Retiré, you would start from first position. So we've got our foundation posture, we've got our ballet tuck, we've got our ab brace, we've got our shoulders down and back. Now you can do this in bra bar or with the hands on the hips, and eventually you would probably add an arm line as well. But the basic Retiré is basically keeping your turnout on your toes, keeping your knee facing out over your toes. You simply lift one leg so that the toes come to either the side or the back of the other knee. Now you notice I'm not putting any pressure on the other joint as I do that. I'm keeping my standing knee soft and I'm lifting my toes either just beside or just behind that knee without actually pressing on my knee joint. And that toe and that knee track out to the side. Now how far to the side you go will depend on your hip flexibility. But as long as you've got a track to the side, it doesn't matter how far out you're going. So this brings me back onto the other instance where you might come across the relevé. But before I go into that, I just want to add one more final tip for your Retiré. Now I said about the ab brace in your foundation posture, and that ab brace is even more important in the Retiré because you're standing on one leg, and abdominals are the key to balance when you're standing on one leg. So as you lift the leg, you also need to think about lifting through your abdominals. So as you lift, you breathe in, you lift your abdominals, and then you reset as you breathe out. Someone once described it to me as, imagine you're putting on a pair of skinny jeans. You know when you've got your skinny jeans up and you just need to get that last bit doing the zip up, and you zip to get your skinny jeans done up. Well, that's what you need to think about as you Retiré. You zip your abs as you lift. And once you've got that balance, and once you've got that ability to zip the abs as you lift, then you can add the relevé to the Retiré. So as you zip, you roll up onto the ball of the foot. And your Retiré becomes a Retiré relevé. The one other variation of the Retiré that you may see in bar is the Retiré passé. And with the retiré passé, as you lift, the toe comes up the back of the leg and it then swaps to the front of the leg as you lower the leg. And then you would repeat it on the other side. So you notice I've started in third position. My back leg slides up and then we come back down the front of the leg. And that's the retiré passé. So the leg just passes to the other side in your retiré passé. So the one final thing I want to talk about this evening, the RondDeJambe. And the RondDeJambe starts with the retiré, which is why I wanted to cover that first. Because with the RondDeJambe, you start with that retiré, lifting. You then développé. Now développé just means to develop. So we actually extend our leg, we develop the leg line. So once we extended the leg straight, we circle it round to the back. I've just hit the cat scratching post, but never mind, I'll shuffle myself a little bit further forward before I do my next one. And that is your RondDeJambe. So to put it into less confusing terms, just think about it as lift, extend, circle. Then you can do it with the hands on the hips, like so. Or once you're used to the hands on the hips and used to getting that feeling of your hips staying really nice and square as you circle, you can add an arm line to your RondDeJambe. The RondDeJambe, again, you would normally start in third and you would end in the opposite side of third. Now there are two different versions of the RondDeJambe. I was actually showing you the slightly harder version there. And the slightly harder version is known as Relevé. Now that just means in the air. So all that means is as I circle my foot, it stays in the air. You could also do a RondDeJambe au terre. Au terre means on the ground. Terre is the word for earth or ground in French. So a RondDeJambe au terre, as you développé or extend the leg, you tap the toe onto the floor and you circle the leg round. Doesn't matter which one you choose, you pick the one that suits your balance. The key points are the leg stays lovely and straight once you've done your développé, once you've done your extension. You point the toes, you've got a nice straight leg, that leg stays straight and those hips stay square as you circle your leg round. Or if you choose to go Relevé, in the air, you're looking to be able to keep the foot the same height all the way around in the circle. So whichever height you choose to développé or extend your leg to, that's the height that foot stays as you circle round. So a quick recap in English for the RondDeJambe: lift, extend, circle. Retiré, développé, RondDeJambe. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Tomorrow night I'm going to introduce you to the échappé and the changement.